Welcome back. It is 6:42 on Daybreak, and this morning we are celebrating Buffalo's Italian heritage, not only with the opening of the Italian Festival later this morning, but also with this morning's unknown story of Western New York.
Yeah, we take a look back a little more than a century to a spot long before Canal Side. It's a place called Dante Place, or Dante Place if you prefer, and the other neighborhoods where much of Buffalo's Italian and Sicilian populations got their start. Italian immigrants began to gain a foothold in Buffalo by the late 1800s. In fact, by 1900, their numbers had reached 6,000, despite finding a less than welcoming community.
All of the barriers that they would have faced and the discrimination on top of it is just almost unfathomable.
This interactive map at the Italian Cultural Center shows the areas where people from different regions settled, sticking together in this new land. The Upper East Side had a population from the Abruzzi region. The Lower East Side, including Lovejoy, was the Capobassi region. And in South Buffalo, there was a group from the southern Italian region of Calabria. In downtown, there was a neighborhood full of immigrants from Naples. But the largest populations were from Sicily on the Lower West Side, in a neighborhood known then as the Hooks. It's what we now enjoy as Canal Side. In 1909, Canal Street was actually renamed Dante Place.
It was considered easily one of the roughest places in Buffalo. It had a bit of a reputation even nationally for how crime-ridden it was.
Crime-ridden and overcrowded.
The tenements were notorious for overcrowding, so a lot of the buildings that maybe were designed to accommodate, 100 families would have upwards of 1,000 people living in them.
Cultural Center Executive Director Lindsay Lauren Visser walked me through their history museum, which includes a display focused on Dante Place and the tenements. It includes impressive artifacts like these keys from an actual Dante Place apartment dropped off by a visitor. But the most impactful part is the layout itself.
To help you visualize what exactly a tenement room would have been like, the distance between this wall and this wall is exactly 10 feet, and the distance between this wall and this wall is exactly 10 feet, which was actually the average size of a tenement room.
Dante Place existed until the 1950s, when it was replaced by what we now know as Marine Drive. And because we're only talking about a period that existed a couple of generations ago, it's an exhibit that hits home with a lot of visitors.
I can't even tell you the number of times that people will look at a picture and be like, oh, so-and-so lived there, or that's my cousin, or something like that, because the Italian community in Buffalo is so close-knit that people do see these things. And so for a lot of people, it's a very, very personal experience coming in and seeing their ancestors on the walls. And then for others, it's so powerful because it reminds them of something that's so familiar to them.
And as you walk through, the thing that hits you is the fact that this population of new Americans, like so many other ethnic groups that came before and after, was able to fight through adversity and climb the rungs of the American dream.
It really makes you appreciate how hard they worked and what they had to do to get to that point.
Yeah, it is such a cool exhibit just to walk through and get a gauge on how recently and how quickly things progressed.
Right.
You know?
When you were telling me yesterday about the story that you're doing for the Unknown Story of Western New York about Dante Place, my great-grandparents lived at Dante Place. And my mother's family's from Italy, from Sicily, the Palmisanos and the Paranos, and they lived at Dante Place and worked in a farmer's market there. And that was only in the 1910s and 1920s. This was not that long ago.
We're talking about a generation that had nothing. 2 generations later, you've got mayors, it's amazing how quickly these ethnic groups, not only the Italians, but also the Germans, the Irish, the Polish, have made their mark in this community and were able to lift themselves out of extreme poverty.
Yeah, well, a great time to go check out the Italian Cultural Center right there at Delaware and Hurdle, right?
Yep, absolutely, the old library there. All right.